bring together more than 5,000 influencers from every sphere of society, from every nation on earth, is mind-boggling. But the thing about Lausanne is that that's not just a firework display that fizzles out, but it's like a fire that continues to burn.
A very warm welcome to the Lausanne Movement podcast for those who have a passion to accelerate global mission together. I'm your host, Jason Watson, and today on the podcast, we get the opportunity to hear from Dr. Michael O right here at the Conventia for the 4th Lausanne Gathering. During our time together, Michael and I talk about what it took to get to this point of hosting the gathering. We get to hear about his experience, what he's seeing in the halls, and how he's engaging with people. And we also get to hear a bit about the future of the Lausanne movement. And so, whether you're interested in Lausanne, whether you attended the Congress or not, but simply have a vision for God's global mission, I want to encourage you to sit down and relax and enjoy this episode of the Lausanne Movement podcast. Take a moment to subscribe, and if you've enjoyed the episode, don't forget to share it with a friend. Well, Dr. Michael O, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Jason. It's great to be here with you in person, in Seoul.
I can't believe it. It was just over a year ago when we had our first remote recording. Yeah. And it's wonderful to be able to do this face-to-face and to see you in person. So we are here. We're at the Conventia. This is the day that it begins, everything that you've been planning for. How do you feel? How does it feel to be here and see everyone together?
Yeah, I think it's more than anything, it's just anticipation and confidence that the Lord is bringing us together. The Lord is convening us. So what is it that He wants to do? I'm thankful that I feel like we've done our part. We just want to be faithful to prepare well, to honor the Lord in relationships, partnerships, to walk the walk of faith, and prepare with excellence as well. And then we bring everything together, we bring the people together and see what the Lord wants to do. So, excitement.
Oh man, it's so exciting to walk through the Conventia hallways, and it's exactly like you say, we have done all that we can as leaders to prepare for the moment. We prepared the table, and it's really now up to the Spirit to do what He is wanting to do. And so it's so great to be able to hear from you. How does it feel to walk through the halls and see everyone from across the world, all the names that we've been praying for, and this is the moment? Are you anxious? Are you excited as a leader as you're leading this moment?
Yes, actually, I'm so blessed and encouraged because I feel like everyone else is even more excited than I am. I'm actually my excitement is in their excitement. I'm just so blessed because the big smiles. I mean, all the posts on Instagram and Facebook and more. You realize that these participants are coming and anticipating this could be life-changing. And there's reason to believe that because we have had generation after generation that have had the blessing of being a part of a Lausanne Congress, have had incredible, what we call IMET stories. And we've seen literally hundreds of new ministries and even hundreds of networks that have been launched organically and spiritually through Holy Spirit orchestration at these congresses. So I'm excited for what the Lord has for our 5,000 plus participants.
So we're recording this the day that the Congress begins. Everyone's going to be watching this the week after, just the week after. I would love for us to go into the past, talk about the present, and then talk about the future. And so let's begin with the past. I mean, this didn't just happen in a year. It didn't just happen in 2 years. This was a multi-year process. And I think for many of those who are attending or have watched online or been involved in VX, most don't have an awareness that this is a multi-year process. Could you take us back to the beginning and maybe the moment you guys decided as leadership, we're going to do this. We're going to host the Fourth Lausanne Congress, and maybe speak into some of the major milestones that brought us to this point.
Yeah, I think probably it starts with just hours and hours of conversations with Doug Birdsall, my predecessor. Just picking his brains and just hearing story after story after story of the work for Cape Town and the Third Congress and all the challenges, the things known, the things unknown, and asking the question, when should we do the Fourth Congress? And I think that's not presumed. We're not the Olympics, not every 4 years, thank God. He would always say that when there are significant concerns and challenges within the global church and extraordinary challenges that are out in the world that necessitate us bringing together the leaders and influencers of the global church from every nation to come together and to address these opportunities within the concerns and to see what it is that the Lord might have us do together. So that was, I think, a starting point. And then I think secondly, it's really a wonderful, unique opportunity to celebrate 50 years of the Lausanne movement, the 50th anniversary. So I was in London having coffee with Chris Wright, our former theology working group chair, and the lead among the team of editors for the Cape Town Commitment. And he kind of leaned over and he said, "Michael, I don't know what you're thinking, but I've always hoped that maybe the Fourth Lausanne Congress could be on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the Lausanne movement." And I kind of leaned in again to him as well. And I said, "Chris, that's exactly what I wanted to talk with you about.
Come on.
It's exactly what we've been thinking about and hoping for and praying about." Yeah, I think those two things were definitely a starting point for us. But then you need to convince people, the board, our Lausanne leaders, and the leaders of the global church that there is a unique opportunity to address challenges and incredible opportunities for the gospel in the world that necessitates us, that compels us to bring everyone together. It was interesting how God's timing with COVID was a blessing. We had the opportunity not only for connecting with our every region of the world, 25 global issue networks, younger generations, across the generations, global mission CEOs, school presidents, and more. We had the blessing of a cultural shift for Christians and people around the world, which is just facility with internet connections.
Everyone had to figure out Zoom, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And we've been living in that world for years as a global movement, especially our staff around the world. But for people's expectations and again their agility in navigating those communications and those gatherings was critical. So we were able then to have the luxury and the blessing of 12, 14, 16 months of listening, the luxury of that. And that was critical because we didn't want to just do something because we had decided to do it.
Right.
It really was a conversation. And it was also an important expression of our longtime value of listening as a movement, being a listening movement. So we didn't presume anything. And it was such an encouragement to hear people's, not just affirmation, but pleas for change, pleas for repentance, pleas for unity, pleas for understanding how we can work better together and collaborate, and pleas for Lausanne as well to please play your part, be faithful to the responsibilities that God has given you, and help us to come together, help us to come together. So I think that was another really key moment. And then I think another one that I will just point out, which I think was something I'll look back on as critical, was the decision to have it hosted here in Korea.
Beautiful city that we're in Incheon.
Yes. I mean, this is just an amazing story that is really a story of God. On the economic side, of course, you have a Korea that, in the 1950s was one of the 10 poorest nations in the world.
And it's unbelievable to think about that as you walk the streets.
Absolutely. Maybe many people in the non-Christian world don't understand that, this was actually a parallel growth. It was really interwoven with the growth of Christianity and the thriving of Christianity in Korea. Yeah. So I asked Dr. Young-Hoon Lee, who is the senior pastor of Yoido Full Gospel Church, which happens to be the largest church in the world. Wow. At one point, they had a membership of 1 million people.
It's unbelievable.
How did the church grow so beautifully and so powerfully? What was it, especially in the early days, that attracted people to the church? And he said, so simply and powerfully, people knew that if they went to church, they would eat. They would eat. It's like, oh, makes sense. And then that's really this beautiful interplay, just like our theme of let the church declare and display Christ together. They were open to the declaration of the gospel of Jesus Christ because they felt the love of the people of Jesus Christ, and they were able to eat. So that was just an exciting decision. Obviously for myself as well, as a Korean American, 51 million Koreans, 7.1 million Korean diaspora who are all out in the world. And as I said yesterday, as I met with all the denominational leaders of Korea, I said, you gave us the blessing sending us out to the world. And we have the blessing to return that as bridges to the world, and with the 4th Lausanne Congress, actually to bring the entire world to Korea. So that is just like personally for me, something I'll never forget.
Well, thank you for sharing a bit of the journey with us. It's even as a staff member, it's great to hear the process and the hard decisions that you made. Yeah. Already, I've heard people talking to me. I met with a Brazilian earlier today, and he said, the next one's got to be in Brazil. and it's exactly what you say. This isn't the Olympics, right? We're not just doing meetings for the sake of doing meetings. There's been a process. There's been intentional prayer and deliberation and participation with people from all around the world. Yeah. And so, who knows, maybe the next one will be in Brazil.
Yes. Well, stay tuned. We have an announcement to make soon about Brazil, I believe.
Michael, I'm curious, this has been a multi-year journey, and you as a leader, who you were at the start of this journey to who you are right now, I would imagine just because of the grace of God, you are not the same person. Yeah. God uses this to shape us and mold us, just like one of our fourfold missions says, we want to become Christ-like leaders. And we grow into Christ-likeness through challenge and through walking intentionally with Jesus. Yeah. How have you felt you have grown over the course of the past few years? From that moment, you kind of sat with Chris Wright to the moment we are here right now in the studio. How do you feel like God has shaped you and molded you up until this point through this journey?
I'll use one example that I think may maybe a little bit surprising, but I think one of the greatest impacts has been my leadership in the context of my family.
Wow, good.
So my 5 children, as of 4 a.m. this morning, have all now arrived into Incheon.
Wonderful.
And it is an incredible joy to have all 7 of us here to be able to experience the Congress together. My kids are 10 times more excited about the Congress than I am. 10 times. That will be maybe one of the greatest blessings of this entire process over these 4 or 5 years, because it's been a part of their discipleship. But I think in some sense it was like the inability to not display the desperation of dependence that I needed to have in God and this entire journey. I think sometimes 2 things happen with ministry leaders and leaders in general. They go through incredible hardship, the weight of responsibility, all kinds of crises, criticisms, and more that they bear, and their children see that, but they don't hear it. They see their mother or father suffering in silence, and they're wondering what's going on. They feel the weight, they're concerned, they're worried, and in some sense, kind of the message is you can't do anything about it. But for my children, it has been such an incredible journey for them to be able to just hear me processing out loud constantly. This is going on. This is what we're thinking. This is what we're praying about. What do you think about this idea? I mean, even as we were talking about just kind of our digital ecosystem and the opportunity for us to bring about some game-changing ideas and tools to help their generation and beyond to be digitally discipled, to be understood as individuals personally and more, and then utilizing AI to help them hear and know and see what they need to hear and know and see individually. Two of my daughters, when they heard this idea, before anyone else heard it, and they're both studying maybe to be teachers in education, they said, this will change everything.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, imagine this for us as teachers or as administrators and more. So they have so many wonderful memories. They're excited for me. They prayed so much for me. If you went into the bathroom, you'd see a cross-shaped bunch of stickies with all different kind of Bible verses on it, just an encouragement and reminder to me. They've already shared 3 videos that they just made to let me know that they're praying for and rooting for me. So I think I've understood better in these 4 or 5 years how to share my ministry, my burdens, this journey with my family. And they have been changed as well.
Wow. I don't know what else we're going to draw out of this interview, but for me, this is probably going to be the most meaningful thing I hear from this interview, because I sit with 2 younger daughters. I don't have as many as you, but I do have a fear that they might see that burden of ministry. But what I've heard from you is actually it's a burden to be shared with them as well, and maybe that's a lesson I'm picking up from this conversation. And so thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. And I'm sure that for many who are going to be listening to this podcast, they're going to draw that out as well.
Yeah, sure. They've ministered to me. They have ministered to me, and they have ministered to me in ways that probably no one else can. Yeah. And that's such a blessing. So they've blossomed with more opportunity to minister even to their own father and mother.
That's so beautiful. All right, so let's talk about the present. Let's come back to the Conventia. Let's talk about the Congress. Yeah. We're at the start. What are you the most excited about as you look forward into the week? What are you anticipating the most as you head through to the rest of the week?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about kind of over some of the last years the nature of catalysis. So in our church, we have a friend. She's a chemistry professor. So I was like, help me to understand, what is catalysis? How does catalysis happen? What are the ingredients that make catalysis more powerful or effective and beautiful? And, of course, she's excited to share that with me. But the potential for Holy Spirit empowered catalysis, when you bring together more than 5,000 influencers from every sphere of society, from every nation on earth, is mind-boggling. What God can do. And I'm excited to see what is on the Lord's heart. And I'm excited to see the design and strategy of God be more visible and effective than ever before. And that design and strategy is that we are a body. We're a body. But if you think about global Christianity and you think about all the ministries and activity and more, if you were to ask someone, describe, what analogy would you use for global Christianity? I don't think anyone who knows anything much would say, I would describe global Christianity and global Christians as a body that is united, that is strong, that is coordinated, that is active, that is, beautifully working together. I don't think that would be our description, but that's God's strategy.
Yeah, and it's His dream for His bride.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what could the Fourth Lausanne Congress, help contribute toward that beautiful biblical image and promise of who we are and who we are to become. I think that's really exciting. Part of the catalysis is all the ingredients need to be there. So 24 hours ago, we weren't sure about something, which was we didn't know if history would be repeated. And history happened in the first and second and third Lausanne Congresses. And that history was that our Chinese sisters and brothers were not able to join us. That beautiful, amazing part of the body of Jesus Christ was not able to be with us. So there were empty seats. We have been praying and praying and praying and hoping, sending letters to presidents of countries and asking for just the Lord to allow the family to all come together. We've heard stories of challenges, of police visitations, even of some of our participants who've had family members who have been detained and threatened that if you go, there will be problems. I will, in 2 hours, be together with, I believe, many of our brothers and sisters who have made it in from China.
That's amazing.
The Lord has opened the door. Still, we are aware of a number who have not been able to make it through. But I believe the word is that many have made it through, and they are, as we speak, worshiping together. And I'll be joining them to just encourage them and bless them and let them know we have been praying and we have been waiting. Imagine in 50 years, you've had 3 family reunions. The only time that the whole family across, let's say it's a huge family, and there's one part of the family that has not been able to make it for all of those 3 reunions. And then finally, the 4th reunion, the 50th year, that family was finally able to come. Imagine the joy and celebration. We're going to be able to enjoy that celebration, and there's going to be an opportunity for catalysis like never before.
Yeah, as you were speaking, I was just reminded of the other image. So the scriptures speak about the global church being the body, but it also speaks about the church being the bride. As you were speaking, I was just thinking about that moment where the bride gets the tiara with the jewels, and it's almost like we're having that moment with the jewel is being put on the bride of Christ. It's such a beautiful image of the global church. Yes. And my prayer is that we would all have a more beautiful picture in our minds by the time we leave here of the bride of Christ and how much Jesus loves his bride. Right. So those who are going to be listening to this are going to be listening to this podcast after the Congress has ended. And I just want you to take a moment to imagine that you are sitting across the table with a participant. And I'm hoping that everyone listening can almost put themselves in this chair, and they're looking at you, Michael O, and you've taken a moment to sit across the table from them. What is something that you would want to say to some of the participants that have been here at the Congress?
I want you to be able to hear one day from the Lord that with all that you experience, all that he gifted to you in this 4th Congress, all the opportunities, not just during the week, but moving forward, the opportunities to be a part of global collaboration, the opportunities to strategically be engaging the world in the greatest complexities and pains that our societies and people are feeling, and all of the glorious vision of the body of Jesus Christ and of heaven one day, in light of the literally millions of prayers that have been prayed, investing in your participation, and not just in the Congress, but after. Steward this well. May God say, in light of all of this and this aspect and this stewardship alone, well done, good and faithful servant. And that means that we do not come together as a body here and then it's like, okay, plop off this finger and we're going to just go back and be the finger and then like pull off this part of the body and go about your own business. We cannot go back to the way it was. We cannot. We need to have intentionality to make sure we continue to be connected. We utilize the gifts of digital to stay connected. We are gifting tools for you and the global church to stay connected and to be effective and to be beautiful. We have gifted resources like the report on the State of the Great Commission, the Soul Statement, collaborative action commitment. Let's utilize these tools and be an advocate. Part of stewardship is to be an advocate. You are our best advocate. And we are developing, Accelerate, which is kind of like a Congress in a box that you can bring back and avoid what, someone said to me is like, how do we avoid kind of just going back and saying it was incredible? And people are like, oh, that's nice, and not get it. So I said, we're going to have a resource that you can bring back to help accelerate all that you experience, help them to get their own experience, and then just for it to continue to reverberate out to the localities and also globally. And it reminds me of what John Stott said, so many years ago. He said, many an event are like an impressive display of fireworks. But the thing about Lausanne is that, that's not just a firework display that sizzles out, fizzles out, but it's like a fire that continues to burn, that can be spread out and brought out to the whole world. And that is a powerful image of how the Lord has used the Lausanne movement, of what we hope for and have been praying for and have designed for with the Fourth Congress, and what good stewardship would look like, for you.
I love how you painted the picture of millions of prayers being prayed. As I engage with so many of the participants as they're coming in, you begin to hear the stories of what it took to actually get here. And for some, it was easy. And for some, as we've mentioned, it has been beyond a journey. But the call is, this isn't just a moment where we get to enjoy a congress with the bride of Christ. It's a moment to be stewarded. And I think that's such a valuable image to go across. And you mentioned some of the ways in which we can steward this moment well as we go back to our homes. Could you just say, like, what are the next steps? So we sit in Cross Coffee, I'm saying, well, I want to steward this moment, Michael. How do I do that? What would be something that you would say, a practical next step for me to go back home and say, okay, this is how you can steward your moment?
Right. First of all, thank everyone who helped make it possible.
That's good.
Your family, who sacrificed the days of your absence, your church, your friends who have been praying for you, those who have helped financially support you. Thank everyone and thank God. And, get on your knees, lift your hands to God, and continue to say, Lord, use me. What is it that you want me to steward, and how? And then receive the gifts that Lausanne is providing, including our collaborative action hub, including other digital resources that we are releasing, including the opportunity to share the Accelerate platform with anyone and everyone that you know. That's actually one of the best ways that you can thank them. Say, I want to share this gift from the Congress, and I want it to just overflow to you and from you and through you. Because the theme of the Congress isn't let the 5,000 key influencers of the global church declare and display Christ together. It's let the church declare and display Christ together. So until the church all are brought together and are united and mobilized and inspired and convicted and are collaborating together in this way, our job's not done.
So I'm going to be sure to put all those different resources in the show notes for those who are listening in. And just to clarify, just as you said, this isn't just for the 5,000. So these resources aren't just available for those who are here or part of VX. This is for everyone. And so for those who are listening in, share it out, just as Michael said. So Michael, I know that it took a lot for you to get here and for this to happen. It wasn't, there's a lot of people that have been involved in this process to get to this moment, and we've got a whole week ahead. Who do you want to thank? I'm sure there's too many to come to mind, but who would you like to thank for enabling this to happen?
Well, two in particular, I just want to say thank you to our brothers and sisters in Korea.
It's been amazing.
It has been amazing. I don't think this could have happened in this way anywhere else in the world and by anyone else.
No.
So I'm so grateful. It is incredible, and it's an incredible gift. I'm so thankful for Reverend Jae-Hoon Lee, the head of Korea Lausanne and the co-chair of the Congress. He is a humble, godly, wise, kind leader, and it's been a privilege. And I would just say, maybe finally, so I have this necklace here that is about more than 40 years old, and this was gifted to me by my grandmother on my second visit ever to Korea. Myself, I was born in Philadelphia, and on this trip, my wonderful grandmother wanted to treat me to something. I didn't hardly understand anything much of what she said. I just knew that she grabbed my hand and she had an affection for me that was just so beautiful and warm and kind. What I knew as well is that she was an incredible woman of God. And even with my jet lag, she was still up earlier than me praying and praying for the 60, 70 members of our family. My father's the oldest of 9 children. And she wanted to buy something for me, and she bought this necklace and this cross for me. So I don't wear it often, but I've brought it out for this week. I will continue to keep this with me. And even as I told my wife and children last week as I packed it, I said, this is probably the most precious single thing that I own. And it'll be a joy to be in heaven one day and tell her how God answered all of her prayers for me every single day of my life.
Yeah. You know, I, as you're talking, I was just reminded of my own grands, and I know for a fact that I'm sitting here today because of their prayers. Yeah. And I'm still riding the wave of the prayers that they prayed in the early hours of the morning. How can those who are listening be praying for you? We've been praying for you up until this point, but beyond Congress, how can we as a movement and those listening and be praying for you as a leader? Yeah,
I think a phrase that I've been talking about recently and just saying over and over again, which is success is faithfulness. Yeah. Success is faithfulness. So that's all I long for. That's all I desire. That's not an excuse for the lacking of excellence and diligence and exploration, and but it's the ultimate heart goal. And I think if our hearts are fixed in that way, then figuring out the what and why and who and how and where, etc., can be figured out. I'm thankful for prayers just for faithfulness. Just want to steward the gifts that God has given to me. I want to steward all the incredible I Met stories and relationships that I'm going to also be receiving this week. And just want to be faithful for the sake of the movement and our incredible leaders all across the world.
Wonderful. So as we wrap up this podcast, any final thoughts or words that you would like to leave with us?
Yeah, well, I think just like you said from Revelation chapter 19, the incredible vision that God has given for the bride of Jesus Christ is that the bride will be beautiful. And you may be discouraged at times, feeling like the bride is not so beautiful. And you see stains, you see things that are discouraging and offensive. But the Lord is at work. The Lord is faithful, and we know how the story ends. The bride will be beautiful, will be beautifully blessed with garbs of pure, clean, white dress. And Revelation 19 also says what that garb is, what that dress, beautiful dress is. And perhaps if you read over it again, it will be to your surprise that that beautiful garb is the righteous deeds of the saints. Wow. So we have work to do, and we have a part to play. And your every beautiful deed for the sake of the gospel in your life, privately, in your family, out in public, in society, and to the world, every deed matters. Every deed matters. Every deed that you are able to beautifully give up to God is a part of the righteous deeds of the saints that will be a part of our dress. So get to work.
I lied. This was a very meaningful part of this interview, how you ended now. Michael, thank you so much for the time that you've taken out of your very busy schedule, and our thoughts and our prayers are with you and with your family. May you continue to be faithful in all that God has set before you.
Amen. Amen. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.